I want to go to our next call here. This is of Speed of Sound in Minnesota. Hey, Speed of Sound, can you hear us?
I think so. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine. I have a note here saying that you're a spiritual atheist, or you wanted to talk about spiritual atheism?
Spirituality and prayer.
Spirituality and prayer. Okay, go on.
I'm an atheist who prays, and I believe in spirituality.
Ooh.
And I'm hoping you guys can talk me out of it.
Talk you out of it. So, like, okay.
Are you praying to somebody or something?
Yeah.
No, that's the whole thing. Well, okay, do you want to deal with prayer first?
Yeah, let's talk about prayer first. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I pray. I don't pray to.
Okay.
I simply pray.
So
it
like,
kind of ties into...
Yeah, just run me down what you're doing. So, like, you sit down by yourself and you start talking?
No.
Okay.
If I have some sort of an issue, something that's bothering me, like I'm embarrassed about something like this phone call, or something where I'm basically upset, or if I'm hanging on to a resentment, I will sit and bring the thing into my mind presently, and then I usually take my hands and I let go of it, and I pray too, and I sort of do this. And sometimes I'll actually verbalize something like, give me guidance or help me with this problem, or what the fuck. I'd say fuck, right? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Just
Can we cuss?
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I would be cussing in the storm if I knew that.
Anyway.
Now, Speed, do you get any comfort out of this? Does it make you feel better? Do you feel like you've resolved things? Because, I mean, if you're having these practices of role-playing or verbalizing it, I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, so when I first, was coming out of my religious phase, I guess, like coming out of my religious, because, like, it doesn't all happen at once if you're deconverting. At least it didn't happen for me. There were still, like, religious thought processes and almost rituals that I had. And I replaced my prayer time with meditation time, and I don't meditate as much as I used to, but like that was something I definitely did, and I found that to be super helpful. And I didn't have to attribute any supernatural or really even spiritual, if you want to call it that, attributes to it. I could describe it as a physical process of dealing with, anxiety or just general stress, and that seemed to have some real world results. So I didn't need to call that spiritual.
Yeah.
Don't
beat yourself up, buddy. I mean, we're emotional people. We're emotional beings.
Yeah. Now, Speed,
actually, I don't beat myself up.
Good.
I basically have this whole thing about developing bridge words or stealing our words back for the secular. I have never been religious in my life. Well,
okay.
I was. My mom tried to convert me when I was 6 years old, but I told her to buzz off by the time I was 8.
Gotcha.
So I've kind of grown up around secular Buddhism, and I've taken a lot of these words and kind of made them my own. And prayer is one of them. And I actually, I had a sponsor who was probably agnostic, leaning toward belief, an AA sponsor. And he would ask me, who do you pray to? And I kept trying to explain to him that basically prayer is not about praying to or praying for anything. It's about self-hypnotizing yourself to let go of a problem.
Yeah.
And what happens with me is when I do this letting go thing, like if I'm embarrassed about something, if I do it about 3 times, the next day I think back and it's like, hell, I forgot all about it because it goes away. And there's actually some pretty good neuroscience behind all of it.
Yes.
But then spirituality is another word that I sort of take back. Spirit originally came from breath, basically. Yeah. And I define spirituality as action without thinking. And that doesn't mean doing dumb shit without forethought. That means basically doing things like dancing. You go and you immerse yourself in a club scene or something with the smoke and the lights, and you dance techno, and that is a spiritual moment.
Hell yeah. I would start describing my practices that way too. When I hit the club, it's for spiritual purposes, man.
Yeah.
When I'm down there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. No, like
dancing is for.
You're co-opting of this language of prayer. and spirituality, I think that's perfect for to do. Like, that's totally fine as long as we understand what you're talking.
And that's what it is you're trying to make somebody understand what you're meaning. Like, there's some people that I'm really close to, and the only way that I can really relay how close to these people are is I refer to them as my soulmates. And I don't believe. I'm not necessarily a believer in the soul, but I do believe that we make these strong connections with people that surpass other connections, and people understand that level of connection just by, again, co-opting that terminology of soulmate.
Yeah.
We're emotional beings. Our emotions are complicated. Our thought processes are complicated, and so if we're going to label them as spiritual, or if we want internal self-assessments, we call that prayer. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, religious language is metaphorical by nature.
Yeah.
Well, for good and for bad, right? The bad being that you could potentially co-opt these words to convince people of something that they don't actually mean, and kind of tricking people. Like when a lot of other people, not speed of sound, but when a lot of other people use the word spirituality or prayer, they're going to mean it in a different sense in what Speed is saying here. Speed knows exactly what's going on when he's doing these things. He has descriptions of processes. He has at least a modicum of understanding of neuroscience to kind of you have explanations for these things. Whereas other people are going to say, that's the Holy Spirit working in you. That's a demon working in you.
Yeah.
That's the funnel cake you ate last night working in you, which is, you're having you feel like you're having a movement, in your stomach right there. But the point is, as long as we're clear on the definitions that we're using, call it prayer. Call it spirituality. Do what you want. Although spirituality, to me, that word is just not useful. It just means so many things to so many different people.
I mean, recently, I paid my grandmother's grave a visit, and I sat on her grave and I talked to her. I know that she's not listening. I know that there's nobody there listening, but it felt good to verbalize these emotional feelings, to verbalize that that I missed her, that I loved her, that I still loved her. Now, was there somebody listening? Even to this day, I wish there was. I really do. But it's still, the process of verbalizing this it's therapeutic.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, there's kind of a broader discussion here that basically when religious callers call in and they talk about having a personal experience with God, or they talk about they'll say, "I know there's something." That sort of thing. We all kind of know, we should know what they mean. They're referring to this spiritual feeling.
Yeah.
The easiest way to explain to most secular people what the spiritual feeling is if you listen to Carl Sagan's Blue Dot.
Yes.
Speech.
Yep.
I mean, you feel this immense
every sinner living their lives. Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Voice.
Yep.
But real, all of religion is based on these rituals and these biological feelings. And I'm an anti-theist. I want to see religion go the hell away, so that we can take our words back, redefine them, bring ourselves back to life, live as biological beings, because we're not. About 1% of our brain is used for thinking and rationality. The rest of it is feeling shit. And
well, going along with what Speed is saying, the recent full eclipse that occurred in the United States, I would have loved to have seen that, and I would have described that as a spiritual experience because of the emotions it would have evoked. Now, everything that happened with that eclipse can be scientifically explained, but the feeling, the experience, the anticipation, just seeing something that you normally don't see, there's an emotion that it evokes that some may call it, may describe as spiritual, and that's just because that's such a level of heightened anticipation and desire that that's the only way that I could reasonably describe it.
Why religions use eclipses as a symbol for a lot of things, including Christianity. A lot of events that happen in the Bible or are foretold in the Bible are described under the signs of the moon.
Demons love eclipses.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Demons and Antichrist, births of Antichrist and shit.
That stuff too. So, what people attribute to spirituality can definitely be explained by other ways. I agree. Nothing magical happening there, maybe.
But sometimes my hope is that we can get these people that are saying they're having a personal relationship with God or they're having these feelings and try to get them to to kind of put the two things together and let go of the belief part of it, because the belief is on.
Yeah, that's something. That's something I definitely had to deconstruct for myself.
I'm always interested in that term, personal relationship with God, because it always, to me, even when I was a believer, it was always a one-sided relationship.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was a devout Christian. I love Jesus with all my heart when I was a child. He was my best friend, and it was very trying, to let go of that. It was very difficult, very sad, but very, necessary to progress to where I am today.
Sure.
To the blasphemous son of a bitch that I am today.
There it is. He's earning that explicit tag right there. Any final thoughts, speed of sound, before we close out to our next caller?
I remember the church experience from the time I was 6 years old, 8 years old, when my mom was trying to convert me. And I thought my dead relatives were listening to me and watching me at night when I went to bed, which is exactly what I didn't want. It horrified me. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. No, yeah.
Good enough.
Did you ever believe that God was always watching you and it made you nervous to go to the bathroom? Because I was really pee shy.
Not necessarily the bathroom part, just like I can't lie to this person because God is watching me right now.
No, it was peeing with me. I was like super pee shy. And I was like,
I wasn't worried about God.
It was like, Jesus is watching me pee. I can't go.
Well, he's not going to have he designed you that way, so I don't know. You got to come up with explanations.
Does God pee?
I wasn't worried about God. I was worried about Auntie Edith.
I don't think
Christ, that was horrifying.
I don't think it would be. Anyway, the point is,
okay.
It's definitely worth having conversations on definitions, right? And so I like what you're doing here, Speed. Keep up the good work, love to hear from you again.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, take care.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get sound bites for myself.
Sound bites for yourself.
Does God pee?
Does God pee?
Does God go wee wee?
In the form of Jesus, maybe. If God is Jesus, then yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I don't see any problems with that.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
That was something I wanted as a kid, was because I remember reading the story about Jesus being in the wilderness for 40 days.
Yeah.
And this, in my sincerest of childhood thoughts, I thought, did he smell? Did he have a BO thing going on? Because imagine you're in the desert, you're just, or wilderness, wherever.
When I was in church, the preacher was discussing Jesus' genetic makeup and his chromosomes. You know how we have 23 pair?
Shit.
And he was postulating that 23 of his chromosomes were a deity, so they were invisible.
What? Invisible chromosomes?
Uh-huh.
What the heck? I don't even know what that means. Does that mean when the DNA is replicating, you just can't see the other parts of the DNA?
Exactly. He was literally saying that half of the chromosomes were invisible.
What the heck? I want invisible chromosomes. That sounds cool.
Do you think you could be invisible?
I don't know.
Well, what kind of wizard are you if you can't be invisible?
I need to find out. Apparently, I'm a white wizard, so I need to know what that means, and I need to get trained. Somebody said I just need a mentor. Like I said, a Yoda, a Gandalf of some kind.
You need a trip to Hogsworth.
Hogsworth. No. We're going to fucking Hogsworth now, dude.
We're going to go to Hogmart.
That's my fucking wizarding school.
You're going to go to Hogmart behind the Walmart.
Oh, my God. Let's go ahead and go to the next call.